Hello all, and I welcome you to this new module. Now in this module, we are going to start with a new data structure, that is stack data structure. So let's get started. Now before we discuss anything about stack, I want to first answer a very common question which even I had while I was studying about data structures back in my college, that why are we studying so many data structures, right? Like I know many of the students have this doubt that why so many data structures are required. So here I would like to talk a little bit on programming and problem solving in general. Now, being a software developer, or rather I would say a problem solver for so many years, I have seen that different having the knowledge of different data structures is actually very much helpful in solving the problem efficiently. So we started with understanding that what variables are, what are the different basic kind of data types, right? Starting from strings, complex, integer, float. Now, if one wants to do, he can do everything with those variables only, right? But we have seen that how maintaining those 100 variables is a lot difficult, while working on a list on an array kind of a stuff is lot easy, as well as efficient in many cases. Now, the major or basic understanding is that if we have a good knowledge about data structures, when we are solving some problem, we will be able to think about more efficient way to solve them. So having an idea of all these data structures is a lot more important. And that's the exact reason companies always ask for these in the interviews, because tomorrow when you will be expected to solve any problem, these knowledge and making sure that you follow an efficient approach is what that will matter. So let me write that down as well, everyone. Choice of data structure implies efficient problem solving. Okay, so through this course, our aim is not just to solve question or be someone who can just look at a question and tell the answer. No, we have to make sure that we get the right idea that how to be efficient and a good problem solver. That is what we should be aiming towards. And if that is our goal, then of course we will be able to do any question, because we will look at that with respect to how to solve the same efficiently, right? So efficient problem solving. Great. So I hope with that the idea is clear. Again, please make sure that you are not just learning or remembering the codes, you are understanding what exactly goes behind the scene, right? So that is the whole aim of this course. So once that is clear now, everyone, let us go and understand about stack data structure. So let us move forward. Yeah. So stack, as we all can see, let me just go back. Yeah. So stack is a linear data structure. Okay. We have seen about linear data structure like array, list, tuple, linked list. Now, what effectively we mean by linear data structure is that there is a sequence or an order to our elements which are stored in this data structure. Okay. So for example, we saw that how linked lists are also an example of your linear data structure. The reason was that there was an order. There was an inherent order which we were following. Now that does not mean that these are stored physically in memory in order. No, but logically we know that okay, this is the first element, this is the second element. So the same thing will be there in stack. Now stack honestly is a very easy data structures to understand, because we have so many live examples in front of us that we can take any of them and can understand the working. Okay, so that is going to be my whole aim in this lecture, and rather in this module, that I am able to explain you all these things by connecting with the real world examples. Great. So now let us see some examples of stack, everyone, because that's the best way of learning about that, not some definition or theory. We have so much examples in front of us. We have stack of plates, stack of chairs, stack of books. Okay. So stack of plates, we must have gone to a wedding and seen that how plates are stacked one over the another, right? Now, what does that mean? That you can only access the first plate and then the second plate like this. You can do that, right? Similarly, we can have one or different books which are on top of each other, right? The way we are storing books. That is also an example of stack of books. So in this way, we can store the books, everyone. So if you are storing books like this, then of course, they are forming a stack. So stack in a very easy sense, it means one over the another. Okay, so we will have some items and they will be kept one over the another, just like the way I'm drawing. So let's say these are your books. Okay, so they are just one over another and hence they are forming a stack. Okay, so let me write that down as well. Book 1 and let's say this is book 4. So in a very similar way, you must have seen those around you a lot. Okay. Now, the reason we are understanding stack and gonna discuss a little bit more about that. There are some operations which we just want to perform. We want to limit our operation. But before that, let me actually help you to imagine stack in a much better intuitive way. Many students are not able to understand stack using this thing because they have an idea, or rather I would say an experience that, hey, I can get the second book also, right? I can directly just get the second book, or let's say here the second plate somehow. But yeah, let me try to make it a little bit more clear. So let us see this example, like can of Pringles. Okay. So pay attention everyone, what happens in a can of Pringles. Of course, you can just access this particular chips, right? You can access maybe first two or three chips, but always the first or the chips which you can see is the one which you can access. You will have to get this out to get the other one out. Now here there is no way that you can get them out from middle, right? So that's the basic understanding about stack. In many places, you will see stack being made like this, something like this. Okay. So again, this is as close to a Pringle box, even I would say, as it will get. Let me do it nicely. Great. So this is how we will see stack getting drawn. There is just one opening. Okay. This side is closed. And because there is just one opening, you can insert or remove things from this only. In a very easy sense, just a Pringle can you can imagine. That's the easiest example because here there is no way you can get any middle chips if you don't take out the top chip first. Okay, based on this only, we will also be developing our operations going forward. Now, let me give you another very easy example from day to day life, a bread packet. Now, many of us might be seeing or thinking about bread packet like this, right? It is kept horizontally, but that is not how I want you to think of this bread packet. Okay, think of this from a top view, the when you get the breads out. Now, here, if you also see, you can just access the top one, right? So, let's say this we have gotten out. Okay, you can just access this top bread. Now you don't know what exactly is beneath it, right? So think of this in terms of container. So stack is just like this container. Okay, everyone. So we can just enter like have an opening and a closing on a same side. So this is the easiest, or I would say daily examples of stack which we see. The basic idea is that you can access or or rather you can just access things. You can either get a thing or remove a thing or insert a thing from one opening, which is this location. We have restricted the overall working. So this is closed. Again, an easy example, everyday example from a bread packet. We can see the same in here, right? So I have found these to be a lot more intuitive than your pile of books or plates because there still students have a doubt that I can access the third plate or second plate directly. Okay, but in this particular example, of course, you cannot do that. Okay, it is constrained. And that is how I think you should think of stacks. Now, in the next video, we will dive a little bit deep into it. Till then, I would just like you to do a 2 minutes quick exercise that what are the different things which you can think of we can do in bread packet, right? Or a Pringles can. Yes, we can take out a bread, we can insert a bread. Maybe we can count how many breads are there. Or we can see that, okay, if the top bread, how is it? We can see the top bread. Or we can see if it is empty or not, if the packet or a Pringles can is empty or not, right? So just think on it. We are going to discuss and dive a little bit more deep into the stack understanding. But this is the basic idea of stack. So things you will see that there is an order. This is the first, this is the second, this is the third. Just that I am limiting the excess in some way, and that is using this thing. Okay, everyone. So I hope these examples, the day-to-day examples, will be able to help you better in understanding this. Now let's meet in the next video where we will discuss and dive a little bit deep into stack. Thank you.